Welcome to Maximizing Google. This workshop is part of the University Libraries and Archives workshops that we do every Wednesday. And this workshop is going to focus on how you can use Google to do research and how you can use Google Apps to help benefit your research, such as using Google Doc or Google Slides. And then I'm going to end this presentation by just giving you guys some tips and tricks and showing you some really cool features of Google that you probably didn't know about. So, if you want to follow along, I have created a URL, so if you just go to bit.ly/ESU Google Workshop, then you will be able to view my slide. I created it using Google Slides, so it is shareable and you can access it at any time. So let me give you guys a little history about Google. Google was originally created by Sergey Brin and Larry Page, and it was a Stanford University project that they were working on in 1996. It was originally called Backrub, and then in 1997 they decided that Backrub was kind of a strange name, so they decided to go with Google.com. In 1997, that's when they purchased the domain, so google.com, and then it was launched in 1998. And you can see in this image over here that this is what Google actually looked like in 1998. It had the same similar search engine right here, and you'll notice how many pages are accessible here. And then you'll also see that it's a copyright of Stanford University. So we're going to focus on in this workshop the Google apps and the Google features, and they were first launched in a beta version in 2007, and then they were relaunched and live to the public in 2012. And I'm going to show you guys a really cool feature that if you go to Google, which I just realized I already was on, and if you look at Google in 1998, and so this is what the layout for Google was. You can see 1998, Google Incorporated. This really strange that you can even limit to how many results. So to get started, as a Emporia State University student, you already have a Google account, and that is your email account. And so you'll notice that instead of it being gmail.com, it's g.emporia.edu, because university has purchased privilege to have an educational account with Google. So in order to access and log into your Google account, you'll just go up to, if you go to google.com, you'll see the little icon right there. And then in the drop down, which is underneath this little pad right here, you'll have access to all of these icons here. And it's not quite as limited as it looks compared to if you have an actual Gmail account, but it is a little bit limited, and we'll talk about that later. And so I'm going to just show you again in the live form that right here I've already logged in with my actual email account. You'll see I have another Gmail account. And so that's where you will log in up there. To access your Google apps, you'll go to this little icon right here, and that shows you what you do have access to. So you'll notice that with a Gmail account, my icon list is a little bit different than the icon list here, and this icon list is what you would see if you log in with your g.emporia.edu. The first thing I'm going to show you is Google Scholar and how to search, how to filter, the citation indexing, the advanced search, the adding things to your library, Google metrics, and then email alerts. So to follow along, if you just go to google.com/scholar, or you can just Google Scholar, and it will take you to this page right here. So searching Google Scholar is pretty much the same way that you would search Google. You're just going to go and put in your we're just going to go with how are iPads used in education. That's how I would search Google. And you'll see that I get 43,000 results. So you'll notice that using Google Scholar is a little bit more broad compared to using our library databases. And I'm going to show you that it's not quite as easy searching Google Scholar as it would be if you did use our library databases. However, if you know how to do the tricks and things, it does make it a little easier. And one of the tricks I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Boolean logic, the and, or not, and I'm going to do iPad in education. And you'll notice that my results pretty much went in half. I have 25,000 results now. And another trick with Google is instead of putting and, you can say plus. And it's pretty much the same. And I'm going to say minus math. And you'll notice that there was a math result. Let's see if I can go back. There's a math result right there that has math teacher education. And by including minus math, it took that one away. So if I click on one of these, this one already gives me access to the PDF. That's pretty lucky because a lot of times that you will find if I click in one of these, that's going to be a little, can I move this? There we go. Can I move it over here? Oh, I'm going to move it. I'm going to put it down there. There we go. If you go in here, yes, this one doesn't give me access to the PDF. And let's see if I can find it really quick. There's the abstract. Get access to the full text. Okay, so this is telling me that I have to pay for this article in order to use it. However, one of the things that you can do is you can go to the library homepage and you'll see, I'm going to get rid of that one because I found it. You can see this British Journal of Educational Technology. And if you go to the Journals tab, you can search to see if our library has that collection, and it does look like we have it up until the last 12 months. This shows that it was volume 46, issue 1 in 2014. And that was called iPads in Higher Education. Hype and Hope. Oh, I realize this is the wrong volume. It's volume 46, issue 1. Let's see. Okay, and it's right here. So I was going to have to pay for it when I looked for it on that Google site, which was right there. This one right here. And by looking for the journal in our collection, I was able to find the PDF. So I would encourage you that if you do use Google Scholar and you find articles that you cannot access the PDF, to see if you can access it through our library. And if you can't access it through the library, we can still interlibrary loan the article by asking another library if we can borrow it. So your options are pretty much like, they're not limited as you might think. And with using Google, sometimes it's just easier to use Google for some people. With the library databases, we have the option of filtering, and like pretty much like filtering by year, by peer reviewed, by full text. And you'll notice that that in Google Scholar it's not quite that extensive. So I can narrow down to what articles are available in 2016, and you'll see that there's 3,000. So that's really the only way that I can limit it. I can do a custom range if I want to look in the last 2 months, but as far as filtering by peer review and full text, there's not really an option to do that. There are options over here if you do advanced searching. And then you can look for specific authors if you know exactly who the author you're looking for. Or you can look for without the words, and you can look for a certain title, or just in the title. Those are really the only ways that you can advance search in Google Scholar. So I'm going to show you how you can add these to your library if you like to browse and then look at them later. So if I just go through and I say that I want to, learning with iPads, I want to save this one, and maybe I want to save this one, and I want to save that one. If I go over here to my library, those ones are now listed in my library, and they don't really go away unless I click on it and say I want to delete it and remove it from my library. So it's not quite, you know, I can keep them as long as I need to. I don't really know if there's a limit because I've never met that limit. So if you want to go back, you'll just click the articles, and that'll take you back to that search. Another really cool feature of Google Scholar that a lot of our library databases don't have is there's the citation indexing. And citation indexing is an extremely expensive feature for a lot of databases, which is why a lot of our databases don't have access to that. But if you use Google Scholar and you select this cited by 101, you'll see 101 articles that cite this specific article in their research. So if you find that this article right here is the golden ticket to your research, and it pretty much meets every single key or idea that you want to represent, if you go in and you look at what those 101 other people are talking about with this, that gives you more of a, you know, that helps build your annotated bibliography or your literature review. Now, we do have some databases in our library that do allow that same feature, and if you're interested in searching that way, just let us know. You can contact a librarian and we can help you with that. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of Google Scholar, and I'm going to show you some of the tools up here at the top. Again, there's my library, and that takes me immediately to that screen that I showed you there. I can look at my citations. And this section is a little misleading, because if you think citations, then you think, you know, like your actual citations for research. However, this option actually just keeps track of the citations that you have that you're published in, so that you can keep track of the articles that you're published in and if anybody's talking about your research. So it's not quite what you think it is. Then there is the alerts. If there is a certain topic that you're really interested in, you can set an alert, like I can do iPads and education, and I want to show up to 20 results. I can create that alert, and basically when there's new research that's discovered, it's going to alert me by sending an email to the email that I have up here. And if I want to get rid of that alert, then I just cancel it, and it will delete that. The metrics area of Google Scholar is a really cool feature, and this tells you what journals are really popular and in what topic. So if you did like physics and mathematics, it's going to show you what the top journals are in that area. And you can also search by specific subjects. So if I wanted to do library science, it's going to show me that Library and Information Science Research is one of the top journals in my subject area as a librarian. And if it doesn't do quite as much with just topics in general, like if I did video games, it would show me nothing. And then for more newer categories like instructional design, it doesn't show me anything. So this is more for the more common topics, and you can just search that way. If you're wanting to know what the most popular articles in that journal are, you can again go to your topic, and I want to look in this journal here, so I'm going to click on, and it's going to give me that this one here was cited by 173 people, and it was published in 2011. And if I open that, it gives me the abstract. And this one does give me access to the article. And it looks like I can download the PDF up here. Now the last thing that I want to show you in Google Scholar is the settings. And again, I kind of briefly went over this, but you can change the language settings, or your account settings, or like library links, and it shows that I have Emporia State ProQuest full text. So those are just some things that you can play around with. There's really not a whole lot of setting features as far as Google Scholar goes. But that's pretty much Google Scholar in a nutshell. So the next thing that I want to show you is some other Google resources, and I'm going to try and spend at least 2 or 3 minutes on each one just to give you a general idea and an introduction. So if you go to google.com/books, you'll see that there is a book collection, and these are online books, and so I can click into them. And this one actually isn't available, so I can add that to my collection. And let's see. It looks like a lot of the books that it recommends for me do not have a preview option, which is a little funny. If I just search video games and education. Okay, so this one does give me a preview. So if I click on preview, it's going to let me see the content. It looks like I can read quite a bit of this. Okay, and my little toolbar is in the way again. So oftentimes you can't access the entire book on Google Books, but it will show you like a little blue bar where in place of where those pages would be. And this isn't very often. This looks like it would be an older book. Yes, this is a preview. The total pages displayed will be limited. So that just gives you an idea of what the book is about, if the content actually talks about your topic before you go out and buy it, before you go all the way to the library and pick it up and realize that it's not even anything related to your topic. So it will also tell you where you can buy these options, and you can get a free sample. But another really cool feature of Google Books is that you can add things and start your own collection. So if I go over here and I want to say new shelf, and I want to say books to read in 2016, Then if I find a book that I want to read, I can go up here and say add to my library, and then books to read in 2016. So then, and it will tell me where it's at. Then if I go back to my books, it shows all my different categories. And it looks like my internet's slow. Okay, and then it shows up right there. And so you'll notice that here is another one that I created. It's music recommendations, and these are music books that are mostly available. The preview is almost 90%, so they're books that I would recommend to other people that we don't have the print version of. And so I can click into that. And then there's the preview of that. So next I want to show you Google News, and Google News is where you're going to find most current news articles. And so it looks like this. Let me see if I can move that again. And Google News is actually customizable. So if you're looking at it right now, you're going to discover that your screen's going to look a little different than mine because I have customized mine. And so over here I have my local news in Emporia, Kansas. It gives me the weather, and then down here, well, even on the side right here, I can reorder the categories in the order that I want to see things first. So you'll see that I've also had video games added on there, Web 2.0 tools on there, I put religion on there, movie reviews, entertainment, and books. And so now when I go down here, that's cool. I see video games, and interesting enough, this is suggested for me, but it is not a part of that. But it looks like this is the most recent, October 4th. Kind of close there. So here's some Web 2.0 news, my world news, and to kind of rearrange and customize and add your own topics, you'll just go to personalize, which is over here. And it's going to have this drop down. So I can either delete something that maybe I don't want on my menu, and I can add topics that I do want on my menu. To just kind of browse through the listings, you can go to advanced. And you can look through the different topics that either Google has created or other Google users have created. And yeah, so you'll see that Google didn't create this list, somebody else did. So it might not be posted as often or updated as often if it's made by another user, but it's still updated. And so then just to add one of these, I'll go nutrition, and I just add this section. And it gives me kind of a preview of what this looks like, but it's added it to the bottom of it. So then if I refresh, going back to my news, there we go. So now it's at the bottom here. And then you would just click into it, and it will take you out into that article. And this site is a little distracting for me, so carrying on. So I'm going to show you another feature of Google News. And so if you go to news.google.com/newspapers, this is kind of an archives of Google News, and so it has hundreds of different newspapers. And so if you're having a research project and you want to look at older news articles, there is a chance that you might be able to find it by searching Google News. That doesn't always work out, but sometimes it does. And for an example, I can look at what maybe Kansas newspapers are talking about, and Halloween's coming up, so let's see what kind of news articles about haunted Kansas. So this is going to show me my URL is news.google.com/newspapers. So it's looking at all the different newspapers that are archived in that site. And so it looks like there are a lot. And then it's going to show me that article. It shows me where it was from, what the date was, 1949, probably explains why this is really hard to read. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you Google Translate, and this one is a really quick. Google Translate is a really nice feature if you're having a hard time understanding what a word is. So I can say, hi, my name is Bethany, and I hope you enjoy this workshop. So if I want to change that and I want to say it in another language, I have all of these options. And keep in mind, because I know that some people will use this in place of taking a language class, and they kind of cheat that way. This is not a reliable translator, I guess I would say, so I would not encourage you to use this to cheat on any of your language classes, because it is not always accurate, and I'm sure that your language teachers will be able to find out if you use this or not. It's pretty obvious, but it at least gives you an idea of what that language would be or what certain words mean. So if I wanted to say this in French, then it would show me in French, and I can listen to it.
Salut, mon nom est Bethany et j'espère que vous apprécierez cet atelier.
And that gives me kind of a basic idea of what that would sound like. So if I'm having trouble with a word and I want to know what the word dog is in French,
Chien.
then that's going to give me not only a translation or definition, but also how it would be pronounced. And then that includes a lot of different languages.
Perro.
So that's Google Translate, and you can do it back and forth too. If you know it in Spanish, then you can do it back and forth. The next one, I can't quite read my URL for this, but if you Google Panoramio, this is a really cool feature that Google has, and it's linked with Google Maps, which you should be familiar with. And it basically is kind of a really cool map feature that gives you kind of landmarks. So if I go and explore Emporia, Kansas, I might not be able to go quite that. It appears this is broken today. Let's try it again. Emporia, Kansas. Well, that's disappointing. Usually this works. I'm not really sure. There must be some kind of glitch in it right now. If I refresh it, let's try one more time. If I do Emporia, Kansas. It's just very confused, but that's okay. At least this gives you the idea, and it'll show you on the map where it is at, and it will blow up these kind of landmarks. And the really cool things when I was looking at it with Emporia was it showed the different murals that are around Emporia. And if you zoom in closer, I don't know if this is too close. Okay, there we go. It must have just been on the screen. Let's try this again. Now that we figured this out. Fingers crossed. No, it's still broken. Well, on the bright side, now you can see all of the little icons that I was talking about. So when you zoom in, you can click on them and it just opens up more icons. And then it will show you additional ones. And these are icons that have been either taken by, you'll see that they're other Google users or people that use this Panoramio website. So we're going to move on from that. That's disappointing that it didn't work though, because it is a really cool site. So the last one I want to show you is the Google search engine feature, where okay, this is a search engine feature, and if you don't quite understand what a search engine is, it's pretty much what you are putting in right here. Like, this is a search engine, or in the library, on our library homepage, this that you're typing in right here is the search engine. So if you go in and you add, you can create your own search engine. So I'm going to call this one like image sites, and let's say I have a whole bunch of image sites open. These are all open access image sites that I find, and I find them really helpful. And so I've named my search engine, and I'm just going to take the URL of one of them and I'm going to plug it in. And then if I say create, then I can add it to a website, or I can have a URL that I can post or share with other people. So if I just go to the public URL, then here is my own customized search engine. And so now I can look up, let's say, books. And it's looking at all of the different, and you can see it because of what the URL is right here. So I used Pixels, Pixabay, Pixabay, Pixels, Pixels, Pixabay, Pixels, Pixels. They're all from those specific websites. And so since those are image websites, if I just go in and it says I looked at books because I want to find pictures of books, it's going to take me to Pixabay where all of these pictures of books are at. So that's just a really easy way if you're wanting to just control how people are searching from different websites. So I'm going to move on, and I want to talk about some of the Google apps that we have access to as a student. So a good thing to remember is if you just do google.com/ and then just put Sheets, Slides, Doc, Forms, there's one more, Sites, then those are all just like all of the different apps that you can have access to, and most of those are available in a mobile form, so you can use them on your tablet or on your phone. So I'm going to just look at Google Docs. And this not only shows you all of the Google Docs that you have created, but you can also go up here and it will recommend some different templates for you. So I'm going to actually just look at a resume template. It will open it up for me, and I can put in Bethany Odell. This is a test page. And the really nice feature about using the Google apps is that they save automatically. So you can see right here that says all changes are saved in the drive. So then if I go back into that listing, it's going to show up as part of that group. So I can customize these. If you're familiar with using Microsoft Word, then you can customize these. So I can make it bold. I can change the colors. I can add like a background color. Perfect. Now I have a beautiful resume, and it's pretty simple to use. So then if you are on campus and you want to open this up in Microsoft Word, then you can just go into File, Download, and download that as a Microsoft Word, and it will download. And there it is right there. My Grammarly is trying to edit it. While my Word is figuring out how to close. So I will show you google.com/sheets. This is a version of Excel, and so you can see that you have your sheets, your to-do list. You can make a budget sheet. I do a lot of my collaborations with Sheets because then multiple people can be inside that file and they can edit it at the same time. I don't really have any that I can demonstrate because most of these are like different users. So we'll go on to google.com/slides, which is what I created this on. This is a Google slide, like I mentioned earlier, and you have all of these different options for layouts and themes, and then there's again your template. So if I make a blank one, my themes are over here, so I can just select one of these. I can add my slides over here, and then again, if I want to download this as a PowerPoint to like maybe print off the slides for this, since you can't really print off slides in like this kind of format where they're multiple levels unless it's downloaded to PowerPoint, and so then I would do that there. Then if I do forms. Forms is where you would create a like a survey for a website or something like that. And let me see if I have one that I can show. Yeah, this is a sample survey that I made for a class that I was in. So it'll show me that I've created the different questions, and I can change the theme. So I have themes over here. I can change the theme. I can view what it would look like from the viewer's point. So it looks very different from my view to their view. And then the last one is google.com/sites. And I've only ever created one website using this. I don't quite like the layout for the websites on Google Sites. I prefer to use Wix or Weebly, but this gives you an idea if you don't really know very much about creating a website. So then you can create your tabs, you can edit the content. So I can, oops, I clicked into the wrong one. So I can go in here and I have the basic toolbar that we're pretty familiar with. I can decide I want to center that. It looks like it's centered the one down there, so I can put that back. I can change the color of this. So that's how you would build a website using Google Sites, and then your URL would be this up here. Okay, so the last thing that I want to show you is just some really fun things that on Google that I have discovered over the years. And these are all the really interesting, like if I do a search for Atari Breakout, and Atari was a really fun game that I played a lot with my brother. And if I just look in the images, it's going to create a game. So other games would be Google Basketball. I have to search all for that though. And you'll just use your space bar to try and shoot baskets. We're timed. Oh no! Yay! So I got 18. How cool is that? You can also do tours, like virtual tours. So if you use Google Maps, so google.com/maps. And I use Google Maps for pretty much everything. So as you can see on Google Maps, there's the campus right there. I can zoom in. It gives me access to see all of the different paths on campus. I can look at it from the Earth view, which will show me right here is the library. And so now I'm going to look up, I want to look at the White House. I have to spell the White House right though. The White House. That's what happens when you do tutorials at 7 p.m. Okay, so this side will give you information about like the place, the location, if it's a popular place, some reviews. But down here you'll see that there's pictures of the White House, and then there's these little these pictures with a little kind of turny arrow. And if I just click on that, it's gonna bring me inside, and I can kind of have a tour of the White House. So if you have not been to the White House, it's a very cool place. They have a lot of pictures. It's a very cool picture. I can kind of feel like I'm actually there. Oh, look at these plants. These are lovely plants. Oh, and there's my reflection in the mirror. How cool is that? So you'll see right here that it says it's Street View of November 2011. So this probably will look a little bit different since 2011 to 2016 is a pretty big gap. But another really cool place that you can look at is 236 Earls Court Road 8. There we go. And for this one, there's too many things on my screen. I'm going to take this little guy down here, and I'm going to put it right where that address is at. And so I have kind of a street view. Oh, there it is. So if I just click into that, it's going to take me inside the TARDIS. So I can kind of have a tour. So that's kind of cool. I will show you two more things. So one of my favorite features is the Google Play Store. I love to play different apps. And so if I go into the Google Play, you would search the Google Play by just putting in whatever your search is. So if I did Clash of Clans, it's going to show me Clash of Clans and all the different information about Clash of Clans. This is a really fun game. However, if I just wanted to suggest something for me, I can leave this blank and just say search, and it will search unicorns every single time. So it's going to show me all the different apps that have unicorns, all of the different books through Google Books that I can read about unicorns, all of the movie and TV shows, some music. So Google definitely likes unicorns, and if you ask Google how many horns does a unicorn have, usually it shows the calculator, and it did this the other day to me where it didn't work. But you can also use the calculator. If you do like 48 plus 6, it will show you the calculator. And so the cool thing, they must have changed it. Boo on them. That it will show you that it's one horn on a unicorn. And the last thing that I want to show you is the Google Guitar, and this is a really cool to play the guitar. And so here's the guitar, you can play that. And then they have their own little melodies. And that will give you kind of all these other options like Pac-Man that Google has done over the years for having that Google add-on. So that is basically all I have for you today, and I hope you really enjoyed and found this workshop helpful. We have workshops every Wednesday, and they cover a wide range of topics such as writing your literature review, searching the databases, using Zotero, citing with APA. So, and if there's suggestions that you guys have for us, please let a librarian know or send an email to us. We have our information on the library homepage. And my name is Bethany Odell, in case I didn't say that in the beginning. You can chat with us right here. There it is. And this is the library directory, so you'll see here's the reference and instruction librarians, and you can find any of us that can help you with your topic areas, and we can also take suggestions because all of us do at least one workshop for the semester. So again, I enjoyed hanging out with all of you, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.